Alright, let's talk about another suit that my clan on PlayStation had labbed out as a means to destroy the G-Cannon Magna, the Quebley Mark II. The Quebley Mark II is a suit that got buffed twice during the reign of the Full Armor Ground Zeta. And although the Full Armor Ground Zeta didn't get nerfed as much as it should have, its second best partner, the Proton Psycho Gundam, also got nerfed. The reason the Quebley Mark II didn't find success during these times is because one suit had incredible stagger accumulation resistance, and the other one had an eye field that reduced beams effectiveness. But now that they're both nerfed, the Quebley Mark II has this chance to shine in a spot as an FTP, a free-to-play suit. Now that its biggest threats have been culled a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that this is better than the Varguil, but it is good at certain things that the Varguil is not. And one of them is called I have two melees, you don't, and we have lots and lots of funnels. So, as well as damage control, which is another thing. Despite being much larger than the Varguil, the Quebley has damage control, and even though it only has MA3, that combination is technically more valuable at the cost of the Quebley being very wide. It has a shoulder buffer of level 4, which reduces the damage it takes from the shoulders by 35%. This comes at the cost of having said shoulders, but it's still pretty good. It has emergency evade 2, just like the Varguil. It has MA3 combined with damage control 1, so that combination, I believe, is... what is it? It's ooh, that's a lot. I think it might even... ooh. Oh, wow. Hold on a second. 130, 5.7. Yeah, that's 185% stagger resistance. That's more than the Varguil. So, if you're a real bulldog about it, you can resist more. Granted, other things can shoot you more easily. There's a trade-off here and there. It has the same skills as the Varguil. In some places, it has 3 melee attacks in one combo with the Beam Saber, not with the Prong. Prong does not have rapid combo. It has Force Injector level 3, just like the Varguil. It has Pursuit Melee Aux program. This is something the Varguil does not get until level 2, so this is another thing to keep in mind. The Quebley Mark II has a higher ceiling for damage potential than the Varguil at the cost of taking more damage or taking more attention as a result. It also has this, the Psycon Resonance Systems E. This was buffed recently to activate at 50%, and I don't think people understand just how valuable it is to have this happen at 50% now. When you have something activate at 30%, chances are you're probably already super dead, or you died before it even occurred. Now the Quebley Mark II has a chance to use this skill even while it's at 50%. And that's great, because while this skill is active, you take, you have 10% more melee strength, you take 50% less melee damage, like 50%, you take half melee damage, which is really, really strong, because the Full Armor Ground Zeta and the Proton Psycho Gundam, their end goal is to do melee. So taking half damage at this HP range is almost like having all of your health back when we talk about melee only. The thruster consumption gets lowered to some degree, the walking speed goes up by 5 units. While you're in Resonance E, you get another stack of damage control, and you get offense system while this is occurring as well. One of the weaknesses we went over with the Varguil is that while it's swinging its Beam Saber, it can get interrupted. The Quebley at 50% does not have this problem. So it's less safe, but it's less safe from a user point standpoint, but from a damage standpoint and from an insurance standpoint, the Quebley is more likely to finish the job once it gets the opportunity to do so. And here's the build we're using for that. This is a build that we have lapped out that can kill the G-Cannon Magna in one combo when you're not in Resonance E. If you're in Resonance E, the thing's gonna die, no matter what. But we've built this so that you can do it even without Resonance E. Let's talk about the Quebley and its weapons.
Ready to begin?
Alright, so the Quebley beam gun. It's the same beam gun. Well, it's not really the same, but it's similar beam gun to the Quebley itself. It is an instant stagger. It has a decent heat rate. You can shoot it once every like 4 seconds. And it's an instant stagger, like I said. But the accumulation value for this gun is 10%. It is terrible at doing anything besides chaining and hitting things that aren't in MA or any other staggerable state. This basically means that this is useless against the Psycho Gundam if it's in its rage mode. So keep that in mind. This is for supports and other suits that are not in a staggerable state. Don't just shoot this at something and be like, why didn't this work? Instead, to make up for the fact that we don't have a good stagger accumulation main like the Varguil, we have 3 types of funnels. Our follow funnels are 12 times 6, and it has a heat rate of 30. This means we can shoot 3 of these in quick succession, and they won't overheat. 1, 2, 3. So that is, what is that? 72 times 3? That is 216%. So even if some of them miss, you're staggering most things in 2, you're staggering everything in 3. The Prototype Psycho Gundam is a big example of this. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. That'll do it. But we have other funnels to use as well. Make sure you remember that the follow funnels can be used while in HSM. This will be really important when you have to use it to when you have to shoot down the G Cannon Magna from the air. One thing to note that I didn't go over about the Varguil before is that the Varguil's follow funnels have a range of 300. This is the same for the Quebley. So they have the same anti-air capabilities with their follow funnels as the Varguil. Now, the pincer funnel for the Quebley shoots twice, and they do it for 60%. Now this is less overall than the Varguil. The Varguil is 20 times 6. This is 10% times 6 times 2. This means that the enemy has a chance to evade some of it if they're in a high-speed motion maneuver. However, it still does really well. It's good at getting its job done. It doesn't overheat on one use, just like the Varguil. And it can't be. But keep in mind, it can't be released while in HSM. The Varguil has this over the Quebley, so you're gonna have to use your follow funnels in HSM. This side funnels are only good for peeling, so you only use it when you have a corner. Still does the job, still gets the job done for the most part. Now, exclusive to the Quebley Mark II is the rear funnel. This also cannot be shot while boosting, but it does a very, very large amount of stagger. It does 25 times 6. That is 150% stagger. It overheats in one go, and they're a little slow, so they aren't good at hitting things in high motion, but it's really good at adding on stagger to a suit. Despite its giant shoulders, the enemy is going to have a hard time fighting the Quebley in a state where it's able to passively attack you. But even from here, shooting these is still somewhat effective. You can chain any of these into funnels into your follow funnel if they don't automatically stagger. So like say I do this, jump in. Do something like that. In Ravine, you have some ways to leverage your auto lock on attacks, despite the fact that you don't have the greatest hurt box in the game. Now, let's talk about the weapons. The double beam saber has a pretty standard moveset until you look at the downswing. The downswing is hella fast. The downswing is so fast that lots of suits can't even react to it. This means that your combos, just like the Varguils, can be easily done so in such a way that the enemy doesn't get a chance to roll. Yeah, that's too late. It's over. By the time you get staggered, it's happening. You're getting caught. something like this is possible. The Varguil had trouble doing this, but the Quebley has even less problem. Something like that is possible. Let's talk about the triple prong beam saber. Has no rapid combo, but has a ridiculous downswing modifier. And while you're in Psycho Frame Resonance, you have offense during this entire thing. The triple prong has a 180 modifier for downswing. And it has the standard moveset even if you don't use it. So you can use it to chain, you can use it to self-chain even if the suit has used up all of dodge rolls. Something like this, that, that. Something like that is possible if the enemy has used up all of their rolls. Not everything has to end in a downswing, but we have the ability to confirm into a downswing very quickly so that the enemy has no chance to fight back. We've done it already, so let's show it to you, but we'll show it to you again. Downswing into prong downswing, saber downswing. That combo itself is pretty easy to do, and it does a lot of damage. This will probably kill pretty much anything as long as you can get the knockdown. Like shooting the magnet in the air with your follow funnels, or your side funnels, or your rear funnels. Falls down, hit with a nice single saber, this saber, and yeah, you're gonna be sitting pretty. The Buchanan Magnet will probably be dead. Now the only problem is the Quebley is really big, so you will need to make sure that you are doing the best you can to stay alive, and while the support is not in a position to be attacked, you will have to support your generals using your funnels in a non-committal way so that you don't get shot to death before their formation breaks. We'll talk about Psycho Frame Resonance E just real quick. Like I said before, your speed goes up, your defense from melee goes up, your melee attack goes up, and you get offense system while you're doing melees. So when you go into this state, I'm not saying you should do it with reckless abandon, but you will be able to run in on the opponent. Because you're going from, you're going from a maneuver armor state to an offense system state. So while this is all happening, I'm unstaggerable. Not really unstaggerable. It takes 200% at this point, but it's going to be really hard for them to stop you from doing this. Initiate with side, downswing, downswing, downswing. They're dead. The suit is dead at that point. All you have to worry about is your HP bar going to 0 at this point. So if you're not into the Varguil and you want to play the Quebley, I wouldn't tell you no. I think the Varguil is probably a little better for non-specialists because the Quebley is so fucking huge. But the safety of the funnels that it has and its ability to still do the same job as the Varguil while having a comeback mechanic in its skill set is something worth looking into. And I don't think people give it enough attention. So give it a shot.